Good morning to one and all. My name is Sheikh Mohammed Iqbal. Today I am from CSCD. Today I am going to give a seminar on implicit objects in AJP and my registration number is 21BQ1805L0. Today I am going to discuss implicit objects. There are total 9 types of implicit objects available in the web container or web server. The 9 types of implicit objects are out, request, response, config, application, session, exception, page context, page. So let us discuss individually. Out. Out is a belongs to JSP writer class. Request belongs to HTTP servlet request class. Response belongs to the HTTP servlet response class. Config depends. It switches to servlet config. Application from the servlet context class. Session from the HTTP session class. Page context class. Page is from the object. So let us move to the out object. So let us discuss it briefly. Out is one of the implicit objects to write the data to the buffer and send output to the client in response. Out object allows us to access the servlet's output stream. Out is object of Java servlet JSP.JSP writer class. While working with servlet, we need to print write object. So let us move to the example of the out implicit object. Here we have taken a JSP file with the header tag and body tag of the JSP file. To write the JSP code, we have to declare the angular brackets in the percentage tags. So we have the code of the out implicit object. Here we have declared two variables num1 and num2 of type int. And we have assigned the variables num1 is equals to 10 and num2 is equals to 20. And we have given that out.println of num1 is num1, out.println num2 is num2. Here we get the output as num1 is 10 and num2 is 20. At the last, we will execute this and see the outputs. So let us move to the next one. Request. The request object is an instance of java.servlet.http.http servlet request. It will be created by container for every request. It uses get parameter to access the request parameter. Example, implicit object jsp.html. Here we have given this HTML. We have created a form and we have given the action is equals to index.jsp. Input type, we have created a text box and name, we have given the name as username and we have created a button value submit. So let's move to the index.jsp. Here we have written a JSP file named index.jsp. In body, we have given that we have declared a string and we have assigned a value request.get parameter of username. And we have printed the out.println of welcome name. Before we have here form used, we have text box. If we enter a value in this text box, we will receive by the request.get parameter of username. Here if we give the username as VVIT, here we get the output as welcome VVIT. So let us move to the next implicit object, response. In JSP, response is an implicit object of type HTTP servlet response in the instance of is created by the web container for each JSP request. It can be used to add or manipulate response such as redirect response to another resource, send error, etc. Here we have created index.html in which we have given a form action is equals to welcome.jsp and we have created a text box of type text and we have assigned a name is equals to uname and we have created a button submit and we have given the value is equals to go. And next we move to the welcome.jsp which have we given in the form action. Here we have given that angular braces percentage response.send redirect to http.www.google.com. Here we directly redirected to the google.com. So let's move to the next topic, config. In JSP, config is an implicit object of type servlet config. This object can be used to get initialization parameter for a particular JSP page. The config object is created by the web container for each JSP page. Index.html. Here we have given the example for the config page, config object. Here we have created a form action is equals to welcome.jsp. Here we have created a text box of text, type text, and name we have given is equal to assigned uname. And we have created a button submit and value is equals to go. So let's move to the JSP file, web.xml. Here we have web.jsp, out.println, welcome.request.get parameter of uname. We get the name what we have given in the text box. String driver is equals to config.get init parameter of dname. Here we get the driver name. So we have printed the out.println driver name is driver, and we have given the web.xml servlet name demo JSP file, and we have written a init param tag. In that we have two values, two tags, param name and param value. We have param name given dname, and param value is sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver param value. And we have given servlet mapping, servlet name demo, and URL pattern as welcome. We execute this, we get the driver of the given object. Application implicit object. In JSP, application is a implicit object of type servlet context. This object can be used to get initialization parameter from configuration file web.xml. The initialization parameter can be used by all JSP files. For example, here index.html page, we have created a form as before. We have given the action is also welcome, and we have created a text box of type text, and name is we have assigned uname. Input type is we have created a button, and value is equals to go. So let's move to the next web.xml. Here we have created a tag servlet, and we have next in it we have given the servlet tag name demo and JSP file name welcome.jsp. We have created the tag servlet mapping, servlet name demo, and URL pattern welcome servlet mapping, and context param name dname, and param value is sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. So let's move to the JSP file, welcome.jsp file. So we have created the JSP file, and we have writing the code in Angular braces percentages, so that we can execute this JSP file. Out.println of welcome dot plus request.get parameter uname. Before we have discussed about the request, it gives the output of we have taken in the user, before form text box. So if we give their VVIT, welcome VVIT, it will show string driver is equals to application dot get init parameter of dname out.println of driver. It is used in web applications, dynamic web applications. Before it is used in static web applications. This application is used in web application. Next, we move to the session implicit object. In JSP, session is an implicit object of type HTTP session. The Java developer can use this object to set or get or remove attribute to get session information. In here we have given the example index.html file. Here we have given the HTML tag and body tag. In body we have created a form, action is equals to welcome.jsp, and we have created an h1 head under college name, and we have given a text box of type text, and we have assigned a name is equals to uname, and we have created a button and given value is equals to go. Next we move to the welcome.jsp file, HTML body. String name is equals to request.get parameter. We get the name of we have given in the text box, and we session.set attribute of user comma viva. It sets the attribute to viva, and we have given the here a link second.jsp. It moves to the next file, JSP file. In second.jsp we have given the string name is equals to string of session.get parameter attribute of user. Before what we have given is set attribute viva. So here we can obtain the name that we have assigned here. So we will get viva out.println of hello name, hello viva. So let's move to the next object, exception. Exception implicit object is in JSP. Exception is an implicit object of type java.lang throwable class. This object can be used to print the exception, but it can only be used in error pages. So here is the example of index.jsp. Form action is equals to process.jsp. Number one, input type, we have created an text box with type text, and we have given name num1, and we have created another text box with same type is equals to text and name is equals to nen2, and we have created a button submit, and value given as a divide. So let's move to the process.jsp. Here we have given the string num1 is equals to request.get parameter of n1, n2, int a is equals to integer.percent of num1. We have converted it into int is equals to c is equals to a by a. If we given the a is equals to 0, then we will get an 0 division error. So here we have created the JSP file. Next error.jsp file. Angular braces percentage at the rate of page is error page is equals to true. Close the angular braces. H3 sorry, an exception occurred. So we will get the display as an exception is occurred. Next, page context implicit object. In JSP, page context is an implicit object of type page context class. The page context object can be used to set or get or remove attribute from page. In JSP page, an implicit object of type object class type object class. This object is assigned to the preference of auto-generated servlet class. So let's move to this. Its code. So here we can assign it as object place is equal to this. So let us execute some of these objects. So we have seen the code. So let's see the outputs of this out.println. We have before we have assigned num1 and num2 values 10 is equal to 20, and we have printed that out.println of num1 is num1 and out.println of num2 is num2. Here we have the values num1 is 10 and num2 is 20. So let us move to the request parameter. Here we have text box. Here we have given name equal, and we have pressed the button submit. We move to the next window. Welcome Iqbal. Next, we are moving to the next one. Here we have response page. Here we have given Iqbal and submit. We will be redirected into the Google page as given. Thanking you for giving me this opportunity.